Hey, what's up?
Hey.
You know that sound means? That means it's another fantastic, fabulous Friday.
Yeah,
We
Friday.
missed the day. We're a day late on getting this thing out, but hey, so what?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Welcome to Budsverse, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate everything you guys do to support us. Let us know. Find us on social media. We're on all of them. Find us. Let us know what we can do to make it a better experience for you.
Right.
Because it's all for you. We do this for each other for free.
Exactly.
All the time. And it's for free for you.
For you, too. It costs you nothing.
It costs you nothing. And it costs us nothing really right now. So anyway, let us know how we can do better. And who knows? Maybe you won't have to, I don't know what. Anyway, moving on. Here we go. What are we celebrating today there, buddy?
Okay. You're not going to introduce us? You're
Nah,
James,
I don't
Chad.
care. I'm James, you're Chad, whatever.
They know.
We're over it.
Okay. Yeah. Today we are celebrating national days. Today's Friday, the 9th September. So today we have 3 national days. Number 1 is Care Bears Share Your Care Day.
Care Bears, share your care.
So it's not
Love
just Care Day, it's Care Bears Share Your Care Day. My daughter used to collect Care Bears.
Huh?
My daughter used to collect Care Bears when she was real little, and I never knew any of their names, so I just made them up as I went.
Yeah.
Like, I'll always say, look, it's Rainy Day Bear. And she's like, Dad, there's no Rainy Day Bear. But the bear that has, like, the rain on his chest.
Sure. It's like a sad bear, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Whatever.
But anyway.
My sister had a couple.
It's that day, so care for people out there.
Yeah. Be caring.
Give everybody your care stare. Is that what they called it?
The care stare, yeah.
It's also National Teddy Bear Day. So not only just Care Bear Care Day,
Care
but
Bear, Teddy Bear.
Teddy Bear.
That's right. Don't want to exclude just regular teddy bears.
Yeah. All inclusive.
Just because I don't have a rainbow painted on my chest doesn't mean I don't
Exactly.
care. Okay.
So teddy bears get in there too. So if you have a teddy bear.
Good. Love it.
Yeah. And then Wiener Schnitzel Day.
Wiener Schnitzel. Love it.
So
Cool.
Wiener Schnitzel. So go to Wiener Schnitzel, get you a hot dog.
I don't think it's the restaurant. Is it the restaurant Wiener Schnitzel?
That's the only one I know
Because
of.
Wiener Schnitzel is actually like a thing. But
Is it the restaurant? I would think it's the restaurant, but
okay.
no, you're right. It's the actual dish.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm uncultured.
It's not a...
To
I'm
me,
uncultured. You
Wiener?
dumb American.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When I hear Wiener Schnitzel, I think of the hot dog joint. I don't think of the actual dish. So,
Yeah. Not even...
So apparently it's actual dish, y'all.
Yeah, it's an actual thing. Schnitzel.
It's not just a hot dog.
It's not just a hot dog, yeah.
If you are like me, you can go to Wiener Schnitzel and it'll count. But if you're like James and is all fancy,
no,
you can actually make Wiener Schnitzel for yourself.
Stupid Americano. Yeah.
So,
well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What else?
That's it. That's all our 3 days. So
hey, that's the day we're celebrating right there.
Yeah.
Care Bears, Teddy Bears, and Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a full day.
It's pretty cool. So a couple of excuse me. We decided this is like one of the worst intros ever.
I know.
I'm just stinking up the place. It's going to get better, guys. Hang in there. We're only 4 minutes in. Don't cut us out now. Yawning, starting sentences. Don't even know where I'm going to end them. I'm just feel like Michael Scott. Sometimes I start a sentence.
Don't know where it's going.
And I don't know where it's going. So no matter what you do, no matter when, no matter where, no matter who you're
Exactly. Don't ever.
Never, ever. Ever. Yeah. Apologize about the lame opening here, everybody. So let's get started. A couple of days ago, we were talking about was it a couple? It doesn't matter. A couple of days ago, we were talking about what we should talk about, what our next episode should be on, and I had probably the greatest idea I've ever had. Just kidding. The idea came up. Let's talk about our top 10 shows,
Right.
TV shows, not movies.
Right, not movies.
I don't know that you and I could come up with a top 10 list
No.
that we could.
For movies?
For movies.
No way.
Nah. I don't think you've seen 10 movies, and I don't think I could narrow it down to 10. So it'd be very difficult. Anyway, this is ours. Yours and mine. James and Chad.
Right.
This is our agreed upon top 10. Here's our list of greatest TV shows all time.
Right. In our book.
In our book. Yeah.
Mhm.
Please don't get mad.
Right.
This is just our book. This is how we feel about it.
Right.
This is for us. And when you have a microphone,
You can,
can tell people
Get your own
what
podcast.
Your list is. So, yeah. No, I'm not. I know.
It's a great way to yell at our
I'm
fans.
just going to yell at people listening.
If you don't like what we have to
Look,
say,
listener of the episode,
turn it off. Find your own podcast.
stop listening. Yeah, not bright.
No.
But yeah, this is our viewpoint on this. Our wives will not agree with some of this. Maybe most of it. I can't wait to hear the feedback from your wife and from mine. You forgot this show.
Oh, yeah.
That show.
You know it's
And
coming.
Look, my list.
Right.
Y'all start your own podcast. And
Exactly.
then y'all can tell them your point of view.
Right.
All I've really heard from my wife is stop talking about my personal stuff. I don't think I've mentioned anything to you.
Nah.
Yeah. I'm about to now.
Yeah.
In 1980.
Yeah.
Just
Speaking of which.
Speaking of which, yeah, this is our top 10 list. At first, I thought maybe we could give some honorable mentions.
Yes.
These were close. Could have made the list, but there's just too many to pick from.
Right.
70s and 80s sitcoms.
Yes.
Like, you're born in 79, I was born in 80.
Right.
But we're really 90s kids.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure. And we got this full swing of TV and stuff.
In the 90s. And it was like the golden age, it seemed like. I don't know when the actual golden era or golden age of television was, but for us, it was the 90s. It was the great shows, you know?
Right.
Late 80s even. But a lot of shows weren't really allowed to watch at the time because they were so risque. You know?
Risque, yeah.
Yeah, Miami Vice was a risque show.
Right.
Back in its time. So Miami Vice is definitely on the list. Like that's like
Sure.
an 80s drama.
Yeah.
Everybody was into Miami Vice.
Right.
Do.
Yeah, the theme song made it.
Tubbs and Crockett. And they're driving Ferraris for whatever reason. Aren't you just cops? Like I didn't understand the premise as a kid, but I really wanted to be them. Magnum PI is one we didn't talk about. That was cool. That guy,
The mustache.
Tom Selleck, man, that was the guy.
Yeah.
And he had all the cool cars, and especially that show. And I know there's like a spinoff, not a spinoff of that show. There was one that they were trying to like, I think it's called Coyote or Colt or some single, I don't know, animal.
Right.
And like they had another concept car. So I think they're trying to do the Magnum PI thing.
Yeah.
But then they went a weird route with it. They didn't have a famous person like Tom Selleck
Right.
promoting it. And it bombed. But they had a really cool car.
I remember the show Viper.
Of course.
When they came out with the Dodge Viper and they made a show about the Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty. That was an okay show.
Yeah.
It was basically like a wrestling show.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like cool car.
wasn't it Hogan?
I don't remember.
It was like, wasn't he a part of it?
I just remember the car. Like everybody was like, "Oh, the Dodge Viper."
Yeah.
You know.
And it was a cool car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a cool car. Goon Squad loves it.
Yeah.
What are some other ones?
Those
are just like, I mean, cop shows or whatnot.
Yeah.
But like,
my wife, she's a big fan of 70s shows, and like some of her on her list would be like Welcome Back, Kotter, All in the Family, The Jeffersons.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So like Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Mary Tyler Moore. That was one I was trying to think
Taxi.
of. Yeah.
You know, things like that came from that genre. Now she isn't a fan of all those shows, but that's kind of anytime I think about 70 shows, I think about her because she loves them. But yeah, things like that. And then in the 80s, like there was like Punky Brewster.
Oh yeah.
The A-Team.
T.J. Hooker.
Yeah. Knight Rider. You know, things like that.
William Shatner is like
Star Trek.
T.J. Hooker.
I mean, that was a big show.
Star Trek was huge. That's 60s. Before our time.
I'm not a Trekkie.
There were movies by the time you
Right.
and I came along. But not a Trekkie.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not.
not saying I didn't enjoy watching them with my dad or like,
Right.
you know, or appreciate some of the, you know,
Right.
the show's like coolness. Like I appreciate the science
The
fiction.
concept of it.
Yeah.
But-
And I've seen a bunch of episodes. Used to watch Star Trek New Generation.
Yeah.
Jean-Luc Picard.
I like Data. He
My
was
dad
cool.
loved that show, and we watched it every night. Like
The
every
guy
night it came
from
on.
Reading Rainbow was
Data.
on there.
Yeah.
Had his
LeVar
cool
Burton.
glasses.
Reading Rainbow.
Yeah. That was a good
Yeah.
TV show, too, when I was a kid.
Reading Rainbow was actually, I didn't care for it because I could never get those books, but
Yeah.
it was cool to think about it. Mom, books. We don't do no fancy reading in this house, boy.
Exactly.
Just kidding. What are some other ones, man? Different Strokes.
Different Strokes. Yeah.
What you talking about, Willis?
Sanford and Son. Yeah, that's a good one. Getting into the 80s, you had like, or I guess early 90s maybe. You have like Family Matters. You had Full House. You had Perfect Strangers.
Oh yeah,
Cousin Balky.
Yeah, Balky.
You know, yeah, those type of shows.
That was pretty funny at the time when I was a kid. Like that was like my favorite, Perfect Strangers.
Yeah, that was a good show.
But it did not age well. Like it wasn't as funny. But that guy, his character was hilarious. Balky was great.
Balky was fun.
Yeah, he was so annoying. Step by Step.
Step by Step.
Like those are all. Again, these are all TV shows that are like honorable mentions.
Yeah,
of course, they're good shows. Like you can't. Three's Company.
Three's Company, yeah.
Cheers. You can't really. Cheers was the original like sitcom gangster, especially NBC. Like they were. It was it.
Yeah.
Frasier's even on the list to me of like honorable mentions. I've seen every episode several times, and it's okay. I mean, it's one of those intellectual things. You have to think about it sometimes. You have to really think about what's happening, but it's not really it's not. That's a weird thing to say. You have to think about it, but it's not really a thinker type show.
Right.
It's not like, it's not emotionally deep, but it's still.
Do you remember Night Court?
Of course.
Night Court was a good show. It was funny.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that as a kid. Who's the Boss? Hey, yo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait.
Hey, yo. Yeah. Laverne and Shirley? That was another one from like the 70s.
These are all iconic shows, but they're not our list. These are just ones that we know are iconic. Iconic? That's the word.
These are great. I mean, everybody's would agree, or mostly everybody would
but these are
probably
not
agree
on our list.
That these are great shows, and, I loved them as a kid. I loved to sit down and watch them, but it's not something, if you had the DVD set, you're going to throw it on the TV, or you turn on to, like, TV Land.
Right.
And you're just going to watch it all day,
Yeah.
You might be in the mood every once in a while. We're talking great shows.
Yeah.
We own a digital copy, or we own the DVDs.
Right.
And I could watch it and then go right back to the very first episode and start it over.
Watch it again.
Because you know every character, you know every person, you know everything about it, you know what's going to happen, and yet you still feel like you're there for the first time. You're like, it's coming, and you get that anticipation. It's like, yes, it's going to happen.
Right.
Or whatever is going to happen in the show. So anyway, there's also the ones I would not recommend. Like, I'm not going to be like, you know what? If you haven't lived unless you've seen
such and
fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And there's a few shows like that.
Right.
For me. I want to be Dexter.
Dexter's a good one.
A lot of people would probably be disgusted if he did it, but he's a serial killer, right? But he's
a good
only killing bad guys.
He only kills bad guys.
And that justifies it.
Yeah.
And the language is terrible.
Yeah.
And the the idea of it is like, come on, man, that's not real.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things like you just get sucked into the story and you're like, you don't know what you're doing after a while.
Right.
You don't realize I'm watching this show. Excuse me.
Well, it brings
I'm really tied into the story.
Yeah. It brings you into a unique situation where typically you're not rooting for the serial killer.
Right.
But Dexter kind of makes you root for the serial killer to make sure he doesn't get caught.
Yeah.
You're literally rooting for someone not to get arrested.
It's a weird feeling. Yeah.
And that's why we these type of shows that we're going to be talking about just briefly, these are ones that's like, hey, this is not a put this on and bring the kids in the room and let's watch these movies.
Let's watch it as a family.
It's
going to make us better people.
No, it's not.
It makes you question.
But these are still iconic shows that people are going to, I know they're going to comment and they're going to be like, you forgot Dexter. No, we're not forgetting it. It's just
not forgetting it. It is. I mean, I agree with you. It's a show that, like, once you start watching it, it's very hard to not watch it. But it's not one I would recommend because I don't like the way it makes you feel sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting there thinking about it, like, I really feel terrible that I'm rooting for a serial killer.
Right.
Like, man, I need to get away from this for a while.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I know it's all fake. It's all Hollywood. It's just ketchup or it's syrup and food coloring. I get it.
Right.
It's the idea behind it because in my mind, after a while, your mind's like, it's real.
Yeah.
You know, or like I'm really doing this, or I'm really invested in this guy's life. Like, no. It's a made up story. This did not happen.
Right.
The likelihood of it happening is very low. It's just someone's imagination being acted out on TV. Calm down, James.
Right. Well, when you get to a point when you're watching these type of shows, and there's some more I would throw in there, like that have great storylines, but the stuff that they put in it is just like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones has a great what's his name, R.R. Martin or whatever, wrote the books. You know, those are cool, but again, am I going to recommend that to everybody to go watch? No. Same thing with like The Walking Dead.
Right.
The Walking Dead. I mean, the storyline is good, but it's filled with zombies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So these type of shows, we get it. We know they're out there, but they're not going to make our top 10 list because
Breaking Bad.
The content. Yeah, Breaking Bad. Another great show.
Just because of the idea. I mean, it's all made up.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. Now, I know that there's like these things that it really did happen, but he wasn't near to that extent.
Yeah. Because we try to stay positive and uplifting on Budsverse.
Yeah. So we're not going to recommend these shows.
Yeah.
They exist, and yes, they're it's easy to get locked into it.
Yes.
I get that. We understand that. But that's not where we're coming from. We're coming from the greatest. I mean, they're comedies.
Yeah.
There's a couple dramas in here.
Yeah.
But they're great shows.
Yes.
And you can't deny their greatness.
Yes.
You know. Now, there are a few that we disagree on.
Sure.
Not just disagree. I'm not as invested in it as you. And same for you on a couple of these for me. But we're going to split this in two. We're going to have our 10 through 6.
Yes.
These are shows that we agree, not 100% on all of them, but like some are you, some are me.
Right.
But these belong on the list, on the top 10 list. Right?
Yes. In our opinion. Yes.
In our opinion, these belong on the list. I don't feel so passionately about like some of your picks, and you about mine.
Right.
We get that. So as you're listening, realize the first 5 we're going to talk about are just going to be now this is our second tier.
Right.
Yeah. They're great shows, and I feel a lot about them or for them.
Yeah. They're on the bench. They're not starters.
They're not starting 5.
Yeah.
But the starting 5 you and I have agreed upon.
Yes.
And totally are absolutely this is ride or die. This is it.
Yep.
These are our top 5. But let's talk about our other ones first.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is I think some of them are shocking. And I think some of them people will be like, what?
What? Why?
Why is that on your list? And it's because it's a great show. That's why. And the top 5 I know is going to have a lot of people
agree or disagree.
Agreeing with us. And then there's going to be a lot of people like, what? That would never make that's so overrated.
Yeah.
But that's what you love about these type of lists.
And you kind of get a peek into what makes our humor and shapes us.
Yeah.
Because those top 5, we quote them all the time.
All the time.
We text each other quotes. We do.
Try to find gifts and just text back and forth.
Yeah.
We have a stream or like a text group, you and me and our wives.
Yeah.
And it's always one of these TV shows popping up on there when we're making fun of each other or, saying
exactly.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
Number 10. Coming in at 10. Bringing up our number 1 of the last show on here just because of so many cool things came out of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So many cool, maybe like a couple of cool spin-off shows.
Right.
But great comedic actors and actresses that we didn't realize, got their start here.
Right.
The Carol Burnett Show.
Yeah. Carol Burnett,
Burnett Show.
So funny. So funny.
It was totally 70s. It was before.
Yeah.
70s and 80s, I think.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great sketch comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that SNL wishes it could be.
Right.
They ruined it. Like, they ruined themselves. Now, I know it's a very popular show,
sure,
SNL. But, SNL's not on this list, and it's not on accident.
Right.
There are some great guys that came out of great guys and gals that came out of SNL.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
But they have also, come up with just the dumbest, most offensive, most idiotic things and put them out live and everyone talking about how great they are. And I'm like,
yeah,
you made, and just the political stances alone, I can't stand it.
Exactly.
And
I can't stand that.
Not that shows can't be political. I'm
Right.
for it, whatever. I'm so fed up
Yeah.
with SNL, and it was so great early on the Chris Farley days.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Rock and
All the Sandler.
Schneider and Sandler and Spade and that was like
So
my
many
era.
good. Yeah.
So I loved it. I thought every time it came on, I was quoting something, or I couldn't wait for Saturday Night Live to come on because the next day we would all be talking about it.
Right.
But the Carol Burnett show was the original gangster, right? In this era. And
blueprint.
She was so talented, very funny.
Yep.
Very loud and annoying. I couldn't watch it. I can't listen to her talk for very long. 'Cause
right.
She's always yelling. But Carol Burnett was funny and before her time. Really, really good. And a lot of shows that came out of it. Some favorite ones of mine, like Mama's Family.
Mama's Family.
My grandparents loved that show, and I don't think they realized right off that she wasn't old. Vicki
exactly.
Lawrence was not old.
No, she was very young.
She was very young doing that show. And my grandpa didn't realize that at first. And he's laughing. And he would just be like, see how old people are funnier? And I'm like, even as a kid, I'm thinking, something wrong here.
Something's wrong there.
That lady's not old. My grandma finally caught on, but she was very intelligent. She caught on pretty quick. When they did a few close-ups, she's like, there ain't a wrinkle on that girl's face.
She ain't old.
She ain't young.
She's got a gray wig on.
Mama's Family was great. And the Mama's Family sketches on Carol Burnett's show.
Yes.
Are some of the funniest things you'll see on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get a second, guys, as soon as we're done, this episode's over, we encourage you.
Go look them up.
Go to YouTube and look up Tim Conway and Carol Burnett show. And you're going to see some of you will see some of the funniest, dry-ish, deadpan, I guess. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
Type humor. He doesn't have to say a word.
No.
Just the look on his face is great, and
Just
the whole scene is set up, and it's great. Watch an episode, Mama's Family, Carol Burnett show, Tim Conway, whatever.
Yeah.
The combination of those three, and he tells a story about his trip to the circus.
Oh, that was funniest.
It is the funniest moment on live television ever.
Yeah,
it's pretty great. It's one of the funniest stories told on television, I think. It's all improv, made up right there.
Made up on the spot.
He just kept talking, and they just didn't expect it. And they kept that look on his face, not a muscle twitch, that like a dumb Southerner, like a stereotype.
Yeah.
Mouth kind of open and drooping down. Anyway, so funny. So funny. But there were so many other things that came out of that, and it was just the whole time you're watching it, I just had a smile on my face.
Yeah, because you knew you were going to laugh.
I was just smiling. The stupid characters that Conway came up with, like the Midwesterners, and that short, the midget guy with the golf guy. I can't even remember his name right now. But he would do some new adventure. He'd be doing something bass fishing, or he would do, oh man, playing basketball or doing whatever. So.
Is it Dorf?
Dorf, yeah.
Was it Dorf?
That's it.
Dorf was his name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the one. Playing baseball or basketball, or he'd be dressed up some silly way doing duck hunting or something. He'd shoot and he'd be laying way back and then sit back up. Anyway, good stuff. I liked it. I thought it was a great show. And
Absolutely.
We appreciated the humor. It's been some good stuff.
I liked it.
Huh?
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Loved it. It was really cool. Moving on. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 was your pick.
Okay.
Not mine, because I've never seen a full episode. Or I haven't seen a full episode since I was a kid. And the show is ER.
ER. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you.
Right.
Again, because I've never seen it. But I know it was popular.
Right.
But you're going to have to talk about it, because all I remember is George Clooney was on it.
Yes.
And then he wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a doctor on
and
there.
They had a small part on Friends.
Yes, exactly. The doctors.
George Clooney and the other doctor that was there.
Yeah, Carter. Carter was his name.
Sounds good.
But no, ER was and I have a trend in my life where I won't watch something and my wife will start watching it and she's like, you need to watch this. And I'll always grumble and complain to her first. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. And then she was like, just sit down and watch it. So
is this going to turn into your wife is always right?
No.
Don't do that,
She's not always right.
I know she's going to listen to this.
Yeah, she's not always right. But I have to get her credit where it's due. So, but early on, I never watched ER. Never wanted to watch ER.
Right.
But I saw her watching it one day, and I'm like, "What are you watching?" And she's like, "It's ER," and I'm like, "Never seen it." She's like, "You've never seen ER?" I was like, "No," and so I started watching it from the beginning.
Never seen it.
And I got hooked on it because it ran like 10 seasons.
Yeah,
you know,
long.
And every episode's like an hour.
Yeah,
so I started watching it and binging it, and I got really hooked on it. And it's a great show. It's a drama, of course. There are some funny things in there, but it's mostly drama. But to me, it's just one of those shows that it's not one of my top ones. This is why it's second tier. But it's one of those shows that if I was just doing something and wanted to have something on in the background or whatever, I could turn ER on and be mildly entertained and be like, oh, yeah, I remember that episode. I remember this. But to me, it was an iconic show, and I liked it. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
It was more drama than anything else.
Yeah,
right?
It's more drama. It's like I said, it had funny moments, but it's mostly drama. And
it's like the original Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
That's still a show that runs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There wouldn't be a Grey's Anatomy without ER. ER was the first thing.
Medical drama.
Maybe
not the first medical drama.
Well, it was the first one that actually
soap opera-esque. Like, it was all around that.
But like actually showed you, like, now believe me, ER is not gory, but it gave you the first-hand look of like you were actually in the ER, like you're right there,
right.
And there's the body, and they're doing something to it, and there's the drama of the doctors. It's what caught everybody's attention at first.
Right.
It wasn't just they're in the hospital and all you see is a cut of the waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was like you're in there with it, and
they had to learn the terminology. They had to do it like on the spot. Like,
so it was
almost like live action.
That's kind of what made it, But it's like a more intense MASH, without the comedy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So it's one of mine. I always I'll watch it like once every 5 years. I'll go and be like, I want to watch ER again.
Yeah.
And,
I want to watch ER again.
Yeah, and I'll start watching it. So.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. You know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Was reality TV.
Oh, I know.
'Cause there's a lot.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty.
Of reality TV shows. Speaking of ER, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reality TV shows that are like pretty great.
Yeah.
I loved them. Like, what was that MTV Challenge?
Oh, yeah.
MTV2?
Yeah, The Challenge.
You loved that show.
I love that show, yeah.
I watched several of them with you.
I know. They're very great.
Eating parts, but the rest of it's pretty entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like Fear Factor.
Yeah, Fear Factor, yeah. It's a decent show, yeah.
Yeah. Fear Factor is pretty cool, like the Joe Rogan era.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bless you.
Excuse me. I like Fear Factor. Road Rules, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's more MTV dramas? There's lots of them.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot.
The band, making of the band,
stuff like that.
Show.
And then you got
really
the crazy
cool.
ones like Jersey Shore.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Don't care about it.
So stuff
but
like
didn't
that.
watch it.
Yeah.
Probably would have if I'd seen it.
So yeah.
Real World.
Watched
a few seasons of that. Anyway, back to it. I'm sorry.
Reno 911.
Oh yeah. The mockumentary. Yes.
Yeah.
Reno 911. That's such a cool.
There's a good shout outs.
Oh my gosh.
But what's number 8?
Number 8. Here we go.
What's 8 on our list?
So we have Carol Burnett Show, ER, Monk.
Now you're going to talk about this one.
Now this is mainly my pick because you haven't seen enough of them.
Right.
To make a pick. Monk is Tony Shalhoub, an iconic character in television. Monk was the defective detective.
Okay.
And his wife was murdered in a car bombing.
Okay.
And it sent him into like a psychological break.
Okay.
So he was a police officer, police detective at the time. And when that happened, he had to take he was discharged, psychologically discharged because he just wasn't,
right.
Sure. There. And he's already obsessive compulsive about a lot of stuff. Very, very intelligent, very observant, very smart guy. But Trudy was his wife's name. His relationship with Trudy was she made him so much better.
Right.
He could he wasn't a germaphobe anymore, and he wasn't obsessing about certain things just because he was so into her and whatever she wanted. She just helped him. So when she died, it broke him, And for 3 years, 3 or 4 years, he kind of just stayed in his house, didn't do anything. He just became agoraphobic and just stayed there. And he had a nurse that was assigned to him. Sharona was the original. But she helped him just, kind of break out of a little bit. Then he started his own, consulting with the police department. So they would hire him. That's just the premise of the show. But then it takes you on, this journey. It's 8 seasons or so, I think. He never did solve... The one case he couldn't solve or didn't solve was his wife's murder. And for 8 seasons, he doesn't until the very last 2 episodes. He finally... The one piece of evidence has really been under his nose the whole time, but because he thought he was being sentimental by not opening, her last Christmas gift to him. And he's like, I'm just not going to do it. And it kind of does... It doesn't make... It's not really a big part of the show, to be honest.
Right.
But it does come up a couple times. And by the end of the show... he finally opens it, and it's like a piece that he needed to get him to the next part, ultimately found out who it was and shut him down. Anyway, but it was, by the end of it, you're so tied into or attached to this character. And even if you binge watch, this is how it is for me. I loved all the characters on that show. Right. They become so close and so involved in each other's lives, and so like you would in real life, like a real family. You just get so involved with coworkers, even. Just because you only work together doesn't mean they're not going to be a part of your life. That part of it is the realness of it or whatever. But you just end up rooting for the guy so much, and he suffers so many different ways, and you just kind of really feel for the guy. And when he has big moments, so it's like I'm really tied into it. I'm like, finally this happens for him or that or whatever. And in my opinion, one of the best endings to a TV show all time that I've ever seen. One of the best endings ever.
That's cool.
Yeah, even better than our number one, which I think is epic, really good. And we'll get to that later. But Monk is, my opinion, one of the greatest detective shows just ever. And it's kind of cool. It's comedy. But there's also quite a bit of drama. Yeah. And a little bit of action here and there. But
I need to watch it. I haven't watched. I've seen a few episodes of it, but I've never sat down and actually invested in it.
It does not have... It has one character in there that's like that really dumb, stupid person that really we are like in comedies. You want to have those characters that are he's so stupid. Right. Unpredictable. There's only one of them in Monk. But... It's just funny. Just a good show. Really cool. It's worth a watch.
Right.
And there's not a ton of every episode has to have this in it or that in it or female body parts or
exactly.
He's very offended by nudity. So anytime it even comes close to that, he freezes up and he's like, oh. Yeah. He doesn't know what to do because it's too awkward for him. Anyway. So it's a really cool show. I liked it, and I would totally recommend that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to watch it, dude.
I will. I'll try my best.
And now you have to, and I will watch ER.
Okay.
And this next one, I'll even give it some more airtime.
What's that?
Not even my favorite, but I do see the appeal. House.
Oh, House.
Another medical drama. Here
House, yeah. But it's a different medical drama because House, there is some seriousness in House, but House is more funny. Yeah. And serious, kind of 50-50, because the character himself, House. I love House. Now,
yes, my wife loves House. She has seen everything.
I've seen every episode multiple times. Yeah. I love it. I love the drama of it. I love the character House. And I guess we like these shows simply because it's man, I wish I could be that way. One, House is super brilliant, smart, but also he's witty. And he doesn't care about anybody's feelings at all. He's very rude, really. Yep. And not that we all want to be rude, but sometimes you're just man, I just wish I could say what I want to say. Yeah. But he does. Yep. So I think that's why people are drawn to that character. If he thinks you're an idiot, he's just going to say, you're an idiot. Yeah.
And here are the reasons why you're an idiot.
Yeah. And it's cool. And another reason why I loved House when it came out and everything is because, of course, we're ministers,
Yep.
you know, and he's constantly fighting this battle
Oh yeah.
of, is God real? And he's so atheist.
Convinced.
He's so convinced that when you die, it's nothing. There's nothing after it. There's nothing there. And he's always trying to figure out what is after death because he's convinced that there's nothing. But all throughout the shows, he has these moments where he like dies.
Yeah.
Or he
challenged by it.
And he's like, what is this place? Or what is this thing? And and one of the cool moments for me, because of course me being Christian and rooting, like, you know, I know it's a TV show, but I'm like, come on, house, you know, get saved, you know, whatever, you know, whatever. But one of the cool moments in the show is he has this leg that causes him a lot of pain all the time, and it's one of the major themes of the show. But he has this moment where he is technically dead, and he's talking to this person who's there, and it's one of my favorite moments when she's like, "Okay, you have to go back," and he's like, "I don't want to."
Yeah, and
she's like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Because it doesn't hurt here."
Right.
And I'm like, "Aha! See, you know." But again, that's not the whole point of the
dummy.
Show. That's just one of the little nuggets that made me fall in love with it.
You're involved in the character and like they're real people.
Yeah, like they're real,
and you want great things to happen for them.
Right.
You're like realizing, wait, they live in Hollywood and they're worth millions.
Exactly. You know, so it's just storyline, but I really love it. I like it. Didn't really love the ending. I wish they would have done something different.
Yeah.
For the ending, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Go watch House. It's amazing.
I think I've seen every episode up to season 8.
Yeah.
8's where I fell off.
Right.
Just because they were starting to kind of blend in to each other.
Right.
And they were starting to look the same. And I couldn't keep up with... I'd miss an episode here or there. Mm-hmm. When they were still coming out. Like I'd put them on my queue in Hulu.
Yeah.
And then I would go back to watch, and they'd been taken off because they weren't new anymore.
Right.
Back when Hulu cared about that stuff. And then... I'd miss it, and then I'd be like, "Wait, what happened? He's with who?
Yeah,
like, him and Cuddy again? Like, what happened here?"
Yeah,
and then I'd watch one like, "Wait, they're not together now?" Like, and I would, that stuff that irritated me. The rest of it's almost the same, you know, in a lot of ways. I'm not mad at it. I mean, it's TV.
Sure,
it's going to get repetitive, and it's okay. It's not that a story has to be different every time to keep my interest.
Exactly.
It's just that I was getting lost, so then I was like,
Right.
Like Patty.
Yeah.
I don't want to get back to that. You know what I mean? I don't want to go pick that up again.
And the soundtrack.
And plus,
the soundtrack
I like to make my
House
wife mad sometimes.
Is great.
Mm-hmm.
They have great music. Mm-hmm. So many songs I've been like, oh, man, I heard that song. I want to put it on my playlist or whatever, you know, because it came from that. Yeah. And
House?
From House, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, great songs on House.
Okay. Well, I didn't remember that part. But that's cool. Yeah. House. Another.
Like, not A team, but it's B team. But it's in there.
It is B team, yeah. Not starting 5, but.
Right.
It's on the team.
Yeah.
And I see why. You know what I mean? We got enough time for one more. Well, this is going to be a 2-parter.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean to leave you guys hanging.
Right.
But we're going to get that top 5 next week.
Yeah. Because
we don't really like to go over the 45-minute mark, and we're already 40 minutes into this, and...
So we're at number 5, though, right?
We're at number 6.
Okay, so we got there. 6.
This, again, is kind of more one of my picks than your pick, but still.
Yeah.
Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Written by the same people that wrote The Office, but in my opinion, some of the greatest comedy-type television characters.
Right.
Like, it's another one of those mockumentary deals. Like, it's the setting is like there's camera crews following around this politician, this local city government politician lady, political person and it's kind of following her around on her daily tasks, and she's an assistant manager, assistant supervisor. What I don't know what they're called. I can't remember now. Assistant director. There you go. For Parks and Recreation in the city of Pawnee, Indiana. And Chris Pratt got not his start, but was on the show, and he's only supposed to do 1 or 2 episodes. and then he was just going to be gone. But was so funny, and the audience loved him so much. Like, the reaction was so grand that they had to bring him back for more episodes, and eventually became an absolute foundation of the show.
Yeah.
That's just how, like, that show, you get to see the development of not only a character, Andy Dwyer, but the actor, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
You see him getting ready for his transition from, overweight comedy guy to Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, yeah.
There's a big weight loss transformation, about like a physical transformation, and also his acting and his ability to kind of say less, but at the same time have more of a presence on screen. So really cool transformations. Cool to watch.
Yeah.
And not only that, but Amy Poehler, like from SNL.
Yeah.
But this was meant for her. Like, this is absolutely 100% her. And it's political, obviously. It takes place in government. She's a government worker. So you're going to run into politics.
Sure.
And you can't avoid that today in television.
Right. It's everywhere.
What I love about it, and one of my favorite things, is that she's so liberal, but then comes across, but they also see how ridiculous it is to be that liberal.
Right.
And to be that one-sided and one singular thinking, you know what I mean? That it kind of pokes fun at it and pokes holes in it and all that other stuff, and then she kind of just blindly can't see it. But she's so passionate about life, about what is right and doing what's right, that she just can't see all these other things that happen around her, and it's just hilarious. It's great. And the guy that plays, Nick Offerman, plays her boss, Ron Swanson, one of the greatest, just libertarian.
Yeah.
One of the greatest, just second guys on a show. One of my faves. And you'll see a trend when we get to our top 5 here. You'll see it with me. I see a trend in myself in my favorite shows to having a character that kind of like this guy.
Yeah,
and I see why. Dude, it's just so funny. I bought Megan a T-shirt for Christmas. It's Ron Swanson 2020.
Yeah,
didn't happen that way, but still, it's like a night shirt, but it's just funny. It's something that we enjoy watching. It's a character we enjoy, his views on life.
Yeah.
And how he approaches everything. It's just funny. And it's a great show, man. And again, there's some stuff that happens to them. It's not just idiocy and just stupid people doing stupid things.
Right.
There's heart to it, and you start to feel for the characters and the trials that they're going through and the things they have to go through. You kind of start feeling for them, and when good things happen, you're with them, yeah. Or when they bad stuff, you're oh, come on, you can do better. What are you doing? You get involved in the characters a little bit, but it's another one of those just sitcom type things. It's short episodes, minus commercials, 22 minutes, 23 minutes, 24, something like that. And it's easy to get through the seasons. You just kind of and it's over. And it's easy to watch for me.
Right.
I can watch it, done with it, and we'll start it over. It's at least once or twice a year. We'll go through the seasons.
Do it.
In my house.
I need to watch. That's another one I need to watch because I've only seen an episode. I think me and you watched together.
Yeah. You have to make it through the first season. There was some of the comedy was is easy for me to get through it because it's I haven't seen other shows or I hadn't seen other stuff. Now that I've seen other stuff, it won't be as funny the first season.
Right.
But as you get to the second season and as they progress, it's oh man, never mind.
Yeah.
Once Andy becomes more a part of the show or Chris Pratt, it's the dude is talented.
Yeah.
He's pretty dang funny. And
and that's one thing I've learned. I mean, I know we're watching
relationships.
We're talking about TV shows, but little advice from your buddies at Buzzverse. When you're getting ready to watch a show, don't judge the whole show on the first episode.
Yeah.
Get 2 or 3, 4 or 5 in before you make a decision whether I'm going to stop watching.
Absolutely.
Because they're all just starting. And then once you get in there, I was oh man, this turned into a really good show.
If something I have noticed, if I've learned anything watching television, you cannot judge it by its pilot episode.
Right.
Because sometimes they change characters.
Everything.
They change the cities. Sometimes they change all the wardrobes, haircut.
Yeah.
All the things that make you kind of uncomfortable. You don't want to watch it. They can be changed before episode 2.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a whole season.
Yeah. To find their way.
And this will come up again when we get to our number 1.
Oh, yeah. Our number 1.
First season, stunk.
Yeah.
Second season, made it.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Got good. it got real good.
All right.
Anyway, as we go along, as we wrap it up today, we will be back next week with our top 5. This is starting 5.
Are you going to sing us out?
You don't want to miss it.
Do, 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 do,
Till next time. God bless. Peace out. We love you. We'll see you then.
Bye, y'all.